Welcome everyone to our March Ask the Expert webinar. I'm Catherine, the program coordinator for the National Aphasia Association. The National Aphasia Association is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to promote public awareness and understanding of aphasia, to promote research that aims to improve the lives of people with aphasia, and to provide support to all persons with aphasia and their care partners. Today's Ask the Expert is a collaboration between the NAA and the Brain Injury Association of America, and our experts today are from the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina. We are going to be talking about the UnMasking Brain Injury Project, which helps raise awareness about brain injury and gives people with brain injury, including people with aphasia, an artistic way to express themselves. And this topic is particularly timely for us because later this month, we are having our annual Night of Aphasia Arts. So just a reminder, that's coming up Wednesday, March 25th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a wonderful show. We received so many amazing submissions of all different types of arts that we are excited to highlight and share with you all. So please join us for that. The information about that and the link to join is on our website on our events calendar. So just a couple things before I introduce our experts for today. You can select closed captions on your Zoom toolbar to view captions throughout the whole webinar. And then please write your questions about our topic today in the Q&A section. Our experts are really excited to make this interactive and to answer any and all questions that you may have. And then please say hello or add any comments you have in the chat. We're going to answer as many of your questions about today's topic as we can. If we don't get to your question, or if you have another question about aphasia, you can email the NAA at answers@aphasia.org. Or you can join us at our interactive virtual program after the expert, which is a week from now, next Wednesday, 12 to 1 p.m. And during that session, we'll be talking about today's topic, about unmasking brain injury, and we hope to give you all the opportunity to make your own masks. As a reminder, we are now offering one professional development hour towards ASHA certification maintenance for speech language pathologists who attend the entire Ask the Expert webinar live, and we'll share that certificate at the end of the webinar. All right, I have a sip of water. I have a little frog in my throat before I read Kitty's wonderful bio. Kitty Barringer began volunteering with the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina as a person living with brain injury, and is now the survivor advocate and outreach coordinator and a valued part-time team member. Her lived experience as a survivor uniquely informs her work, allowing her to connect deeply with others and bring authenticity to the Brain Injury Association's outreach efforts. In her role, Kitty supports the Brain Injury Association's mission through advocacy, training, and outreach, particularly by engaging with others living with brain injury. She is especially passionate about leading crisis intervention team trainings, where she speaks from a survivor's perspective and answers questions to help increase understanding among professionals. Her work not only supports others, it gives her the chance to thrive and be a living example of recovery and resilience. Kitty's background as a registered nurse complements her current work, having previously served in intensive care and now engaging in intensive rehab settings with patients in 2 triad area hospitals. She also holds the Certified Brain Injury Specialist credential, reinforcing her commitment to this field. Erica Davis joined the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina in June 2024 as a neuro resource facilitator. In her role, she connects survivors, family members, community members, and professionals with vital brain injury resources in the community, helping to support the organization's mission of empowering those affected by brain injuries. Erica has been involved in the brain injury community since 2015, working extensively with the TBI Medicaid waivers in both New York and North Carolina. Her previous experience includes roles such as life skills trainer, day program manager, and case manager, giving her a well-rounded understanding of the needs of those in the brain injury community. Erica also oversees the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina's UnMasking Brain Injury project, providing mask kits and hosting workshops for brain injury survivors all over the state. Passionate about supporting an often underserved community, Erica is dedicated to raising awareness about brain injury and expanding access to resources so this community can truly thrive. So on that note, I will pass it off to Erica. Erica, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and to talk to everyone today a little bit about brain injury and the Unmasking Brain Injury Project. I do want to make a note that March is Brain Injury Awareness Month, so I am so happy to be here talking about brain injury specifically during this month too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So, again, my name is Erica Davis. I am the Neuro Resource Facilitator with the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina, and I'm joined with Kitty, who is our Survivor Advocate and Outreach Coordinator. So to the right here is one of the masks that I was lucky enough to just host a workshop here in Raleigh, North Carolina, with a day program there. And this is one of the masks made by one of the participants there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. First, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what is a brain injury and what that breaks down to. So, right now, the umbrella term, if you will, is an acquired brain injury. The CDC's definition of this is any damage to the brain that occurs after birth, resulting in a change to the brain's function. So if you think of an acquired brain injury as the big umbrella term, then two spokes of that umbrella are non-traumatic brain injury and traumatic brain injury. So a non-traumatic brain injury is any damage to the brain from an internal event or a medical condition. This would fall under stroke, anoxia, infections, tumors, and toxins. And that's just some of the many things that may cause a non-traumatic brain injury. Now, a traumatic brain injury, on the other hand, is damage caused by an external physical force, leading to a change in the brain's function. Examples of this are falls, motor vehicle crashes, severe shaking, physical assaults, blast injuries, specifically to our veterans, and sports injuries. A concussion also falls under the definition of a mild traumatic brain injury. So that's important to remember that no concussion is too big or too small to be recognized as a brain injury. And with these brain injuries comes a host of things that may be lifelong or short-term diagnoses after. Here is an example of some changes that may happen after a brain injury, whether a non-traumatic or a traumatic. So in the physical and sensory sense, there may be seizures, headaches and pain, weakness, paralysis, balance, muscle and coordination issues, sleep disruption and fatigue, or sensory changes. Under thinking and processing, there may be issues remembering details and recall, mental flexibility, attention, sequencing and learning, safety awareness and impulsivity problems, and there may be issues with problem solving. Under talking and socializing, where aphasia would fall, we could have issues with word finding or creating sentences, communicating, whether that be understanding or producing language, processing information, and social skills. And then emotionally and behaviorally, we may see issues with initiation and motivation, any psychological conditions that may come after, or unrelated laughter or crying, regulating emotions or actions, and even possibly some personality changes. So I know that in the aphasia community, you do say if you've seen one person with aphasia, you've seen one person with aphasia. We also say that in the brain injury community, that if you've seen one person with a brain injury, you've seen one person with a brain injury. Even if someone has had the exact same injury to the exact same part of their brain, and as someone standing right next to them, they may have completely different outcomes. So it's important to remember that everyone is different. All right, and with that, we're going to talk about masks and unmasking and why every mask is different as well. So, what is the Unmasking Brain Injury Project? So, the mission of Unmasking Brain Injury is to promote awareness of the prevalence of brain injury, to give survivors a voice and the means to educate others of what it's like to live with a brain injury, to show others that persons living with a disability due to their brain injury are like anyone else, deserving of dignity, respect, compassion, and the opportunity to prove their value as citizens in their respective communities. Some facts about unmasking. Um, 30 US states and 4 countries have so far participated in the Unmasking Project. Over 1,500 masks have been created and submitted to the Unmasking Brain Injury website. And the Unmasking Brain Injury Project started in North Carolina at Heinz Feet Farm, which is a wonderful program started by a family of a survivor. They are still going strong. They have day programs, residential facilities, and they are doing great things for the brain injury community. So if you ever have a chance, look up information about Heinz Feet Farm. They're great, but they really have started this mission and taken it across the entire United States and other countries to make sure that brain injury survivors have the opportunity to express their story and their journey with their brain injury through the Masking Project. So why should you participate if you have a brain injury? The Unmasking Brain Injury Project give those with brain injuries and subsequent diagnoses such as aphasia a voice to express themselves through art. There is no right or wrong way to complete a mask, and the project is meant to be personal and meaningful. This project may bring up many emotions, but it's also there to serve as a healing activity. So I entered a few different types of masks that were created at that unmasking project workshop that I did a few weeks ago. And as you can see, all of these masks are so unique and so different. They really tell a story to who the person is and what their journey has been. And it was really exciting to hear about how these masks made the survivors feel after they created them. The one on the top left, he had a great sense of humor and a great personality, and he wanted his mask to reflect that. The one on the top right, she chose colors to represent what her mask meant. And when you participate in the unmasking project, you get a form that has different colors and what those colors might mean in regards to emotions. So she took that page and picked the emotions that she was feeling about her brain injury and subsequently put them on her mask. And then the bottom mask, he decided to break his mask down into two separate sections. The left section was what he was feeling right post injury, feeling dark and gray. And the right side, he chose to have lighter colors because he feels he's in a much better spot now that he's post injury, has gone through rehabilitation, and really has found the joy in his life again. So, as you can see, the masks are so unique to each person and their personal story and journey. And they all said they had such a great time participating, getting to do a project that was for them and really give them a voice with their brain injury journey. So I'm going to play a little video here, and I'm pretty sure I made it so that you should be able to hear the sound.
Mhm.
So I know that that video went a little quick. So if you want to watch it again, it is on our website, bianc.net. But here is some information on how to get involved. And we're actually going to visit both of these sites together in a second. So, if you are interested in making a mask and you are outside of North Carolina, you would go to unmaskingbraininjury.org. There is a click the mask or click the Make a Mask tab and you fill out the form. And what happens from there is the main hub of Unmasking Brain Injury gets the form. If your state has an affiliate that works to send materials to you, they'll send it to them. If not, they will send it right from their internal organization. And then, if you're interested in learning more about brain injury and to see if your state has a local affiliate with the Brain Injury Association, you would visit biausa.org. Right on the top, there's a Find Your BIA tab. And then you click on your state or enter your state and find the information on your BIA affiliate. So I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second and we're going to go to both of these websites so I can show you how to do that. Oops. Okay, so here is the Unmasking Brain Injury website. Again, it's unmaskingbraininjury.org. This is what the homepage looks like. So as you can see, again, over 1,500 masks are on the website currently, represented by 30 US states and 4 countries. Here is the mission, and they do actually also have a video to show about how to make a mask and the best way to do that. So if you come up back to the top here, first I want to show you the masks. So if you click on the masks tab, it shows you it's listed how you can search. So there's listed by states and Canada is represented in there as well, or by cities and countries. So you can click on a state and sort through, or you can just take a look through. And then if you click on an individual mask, it will then go into who the person is, where they are, what their brain injury was caused by, and then their explanation of the mask. So if you ever are interested, it's a great thing to go through and read through all of the different stories. And then, as I said before, this, excuse me, this top tab up here, you would click Make a Mask and then just fill out this form and it will go through the unmasking site to get you all of the supplies you would need. All right, I'm going to stop sharing again quick. And then I will go to the BIA page. Okay, here is the Brain Injury Association of America's website, biausa.org. Again, we at the Brain Injury Association in North Carolina are a BIA affiliate. Right now, there, I believe, are over 30 states that are affiliated with the Brain Injury Association. And if your state is not, then you would just contact BIA and they would do whatever they needed to do to assist you. So again, if you go to the BIA website, right up here, it has Find Your BIA, and you can do one of two things. You can click on, or yes, so then you would click on the state that you're located in. So for the sake of us, I'm going to click on North Carolina, and it gives you all of the information that you need to contact your state's affiliate. So if you ever need assistance with brain injury, that is the place to go. Okay, one more stop and share. And then, oops. Okay. So I am now going to pass it over to my lovely coworker, Kitty, who is going to discuss all of these beautiful masks that she has created for the brain injury or Unmasking Brain Injury project. So Kitty, you go right ahead.
I do not remember the actual date that I did my first mask. And my first mask is the red one on your left. And I had just gotten my RN 2 weeks prior to my accident. I knew enough to put a question mark up there that I didn't know what was going on. And I had tears. The little white dots coming down from the red eye are tears. And so I was very upset that my RN career had gotten messed up. And that's why I painted my mask red because I was furious. But I didn't really know enough to know that I was furious. The next mask, say on the center left, is painted blue and had some flowers there. And I suppose at that time that I was feeling a little bit more calmed down. Um, I think probably my first mask being red, I was just I think it was emotions, and I think it was not realizing the severity of what had happened to me, or either I was actually realizing that I had really gotten sick because as a nurse, I had learned that most traumatic brain injuries die. And my thought was, well, I'm not dead, so I must not have had anything. But I just wasn't thinking correctly. So I'll go now to the center mask that's blue and white. And the blue was probably more of a calm state. The white side of the mask was probably that I was accepting it a little bit. I did get back into working in an ICU, but I imposed great restrictions on myself to um, to take the job. I wanted pediatrics, but they put me in the intensive care, which was fine to me. I like intensive care because it's one on one. It's me and the patient, and not having like 10 people to try to figure out. So the third mask was, I guess I was progressing some. And the fourth mask is uh, also painted blue, but it's kind of like I'm really getting calmed down because it's a lighter color. Like the second mask I did, it also has a question mark. And that could be on all of them actually, because it's still trying to understand my own self. But on that mask, I put lots of brain items up top to show all the different connections in the brain that can get messed up. And I also found the words that say, I tell patients, so that I can use that when I go out, I can take it with me. And it lets people know that I go and I talk to the patients that have been brain injured by stroke, substance abuse, drowning, infections, tumors, hemorrhages, all kinds of things. So I use that to tell exactly what I do now. And there's nothing about tears. And I do want to say that I really feel this project is so important for strokes and uh, I can't traumatic brain injuries, because doing this project, it gives the person control. And to me, that's what we so often feel like we have lost. This something's happened to our head and we can't control it. And so I feel like it does give control, and it gives each person the chance to pour their heart out and on paper, and let other people see what is kind of going on behind their eyes. And one thing I have really enjoyed about being able to talk about these masks is that my face was paralyzed with my wreck, and it was a traumatic brain injury. But often strokes cause the same thing, and you can't talk, and you have to take speech therapy, and you're drooling all the time, and food's falling out of your mouth, and yeah, there's just a whole world of events that happen with your face. And to me, this is a great way to portray what has gone on. And it just so happens that yesterday I went to a support group to make masks again. I'm working with a group that is here in town where I live, near where I live, and their masks are going to be displayed at the hospital that I actually go to. And so it was a real enjoyable event, and the people enjoyed doing it. And it's just kind of neat knowing that here you are, broken all to pieces in various ways, but yet people are wanting to learn about brain injury. And this is a great way to learn about it. And it just gives you, it gave me, and I really didn't realize it probably until today, that it gave me a sense of being able to share my frustration. And, they say if you share your troubles, then you have somebody to help you carry them. And this to me is exactly that. And on that note, I'm going to show you the mask that I made yesterday and try to get it where you can see it. And the bottom has feathers on the top, and one of the feathers looks like a question mark. So I'm back to the question mark again because that's the way it is. But also, I found in a magazine, and let's see, I'm not sure you can tell, but all across the mouth, it's like the fourth one that I did that says I talk to patients. And this one, I can't tell. I hope you can see
Kitty,
it.
put it right in front of yeah, there you go, because you're blurred
Okay.
up. Beautiful.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's got the a license plates of cars on this. And it's all these different states that are out there. And my goal is to make brain injury awareness the key project. And as a survivor, I feel like I'm leading a revolution. And in a sense, I am, because uh, I want all brain injuries to be, I want to be in everybody's face, so to speak. Um, and I don't even look right. My part of my face is thrust to the right side because of the way I was hit. And my left side of my face is paralyzed. And, I get some weird looks sometimes. And the mask kind of is a way to make you feel like you're hiding that, but also it's a way to let people know that even with a distorted face like mine, and some people that have had strokes and have aphasia, that they're still unique and they're still a person and they can still talk. And a lot of times when I go to the hospitals, I see a lot of patients that have had stroke and they have aphasia. And we all have a good time. I'm encouraging to them to go beyond this face thing. Don't be ashamed. And I can speak to having to learn to talk again. And um, I just think this is a great project. Um, and I would like to go to all the states that are on that newest mask, talking about the mask project and how good I feel it is. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Catherine, and she didn't have to get the hook out and pull me off the screen. So,
Of course not. Thank you so much, Kitty, for sharing your story. And there's lots of people in the chat who are appreciating you sharing your story and relating to what you're saying. And we love that you're emphasizing how you've become an advocate. We were chatting a little bit about this before the webinar, that even if you all look at Kitty, she's wearing her Brain Injury Association blue.
right.
Yeah. So we have a lot of work that we're doing in the NAA and the aphasia community around increasing aphasia awareness and aphasia advocacy. We have a group called the Ambassadors, who are volunteers working to increase aphasia awareness. Do you have any other advice? Because clearly you're living this every day in this advocate role so authentically. Any other advice for our ambassadors or our community for increasing awareness?
Try to help people realize they are the expert on how they feel, on how they look. A neurosurgeon, I went to him one time and asked him if I said, I need to ask you about brain injury. And he said, you don't need to ask me. You are the expert. And I think that's what kind of set me free right there, because I had this doctor telling me that I knew more about my brain injury than he did. And I thought, well, I hadn't thought of it like that. But, this is a great project to help people pour their hearts into what they think, how they feel. And it's a way where you don't have to get out in public. You can put it on your mask and make your mask do the talking. Um, and I like the ambiguity of it, because when you make the mask and have them hung, there's usually, like Erica showed, your name, where you're from, and what happened. You don't have to talk about all your injuries and stuff. It's a way to talk without talking. And believe me, I'll talk for anybody that doesn't want to talk most of the time.
But I
But
love that idea, and that aligns well with our idea of this night of aphasia arts we have coming up, because that
yes,
is such another, it's another way to communicate, right? Is
yes,
using that artistic
right,
expression.
right. I want to sign up for that.
You don't even have to sign up. You can just show up. So just a reminder to everyone, the Night of Aphasia Arts
Yeah,
information's on our events calendar, and the Zoom link's right there. You just click it and join for free.
okay, okay.
Erica, we have a logistics question. Someone is saying that they want to implement the Unmasking Brain Injury project in the fall and want to request masks for the event, but don't know yet how many will be needed. So, suggestions, and I think, yeah, generally, if an aphasia center or a clinician wants to do this project, what advice would you give?
Yeah, so I would recommend reaching out directly to the Unmasking Project. They have a contact form on their website that I just put in the chat. And I would just say that exact thing that you're looking to host a workshop in the fall, and you're maybe not sure how many masks you would need, if they have any recommendations, or they can just possibly send you a bulk amount. And then you could always request more if you needed. But yeah, I would reach out directly to the Unmasking Brain Injury Project right on their website.
Great. And actually, too, Erica, we had gotten a question from someone before this, and they were asking about doing a presentation about the Unmasking Brain Injury Project. And you had said that you'd be willing to put some slides together that we could share.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to take the slides that I used today and make them shareable for everyone, so that this way, whoever is interested in sharing these slides is more than welcome to.
Perfect. And we will be sharing the link to those on our website in our Ask the Expert webinar library when we post the recording to this event. You'll be able to find them there.
Okay.
Great question. Our next question is for Kitty. Can
Mhm.
you talk a little more about how you partnered with hospitals to enable you to visit patients and families who have just been affected by brain injury?
The way I've partnered with people is I went around and I'm just kind of a blabbermouth, so my name kind of spreads a little bit, and I learned of we had to apply in this hospital. Wake Forest Baptist was the only one that let us in. And at the time, there was a psychology therapist there, and she was in the same location I was in. So she kind of got me going into with her to she had a psychologist that did a kind of a meditation thing, and they would have patients come to them. And I had the bright idea of going into the patients, and she helped me get in there. And I'm considered a volunteer at the hospital, but I go in. Now I go in as the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina staff, and it's through the volunteer program, and there's a recreation and speech therapist that look at names of patients that they think I should see. And one thing I would say is to find somebody that is really in your corner about promoting brain injury, because that's what's happened. both of those therapists are really big on brain injury. And so they've almost given me carte blanche to go in and see the patients. There are a few that they'll tell me don't see, but everybody else see. So that's how I got in. And that was one hospital. And then the whole thing is finding who to connect with. I met they in one hospital. It was the speech and recreation, and in this other hospital, it's physical therapist and a recreational therapist. So the recreation therapist, I mean, they got it as far as who I talk to. But I'm in both hospitals, and they usually tell me who to see. The census has been low, so I haven't seen as many at one place as I have the other. But it's all in finding somebody that's kind of in the hospital that's connected into aphasia and brain injury, mainly brain injury if you can find it. Um, that's kind of what I did. If that does that answer the
Yeah,
question?
that's a great example. And it sounds like from hearing both of you too, you can reach out to the Brain Injury Association and they can give you advice on how to do things
Mhm,
like that.
mhm.
Um, Mara added a note in the chat too that a lot of programs that were before COVID and it was really easy to go in and volunteer, and those programs were kind of paused for a while, but they're starting back up. So it might be
Yeah.
worth looking into
Yes,
again.
yes. There's a lot of virtual things going on. And I'm a plug myself. I've entered 4 virtual support groups, and they're all for, I really think they could almost be for people just coming out of the hospital because we're not so structured to follow a certain form. We're more of us talking, kind of like we're doing right now, and kind of thinking, trying to help people find their way. So that's just something I've done too. So
Great. Um, we have two questions I'm going to kind of combine, and maybe either or both of you can answer. What do you do when someone's designing a mask and it's clearly that they're expressing anger, frustration, maybe depression? What advice do you have for maybe the facilitator of that group or their care partner or that person? And do you feel like this is an activity and this project can help with mental health support?
I'm gonna say something real quick. I think it is because my first mask was blood red. I was furious. Well, and over time I've calmed down, and now it's light blue, and this recent one is only blue on the top,
Yeah, put it
which
right in front of your face so we can see it again. Yeah, great.
the,
Yep.
the blue on top is still there's still mess going on upstairs, in the brain, but now I'm over that. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that I actually just experienced this with the workshop I did a few weeks ago. One of the young ladies who was doing her mask was I could tell, very upset as she was starting to plan out what she was gonna do. And I went over and asked if everything was okay. And she said, "Can I just talk to you for a couple minutes?" I said, "Sure." And she explained how she got her injury. And it wasn't her fault. It was unfortunately at the hands of someone else, and the other person walked away injury free. And actually, after the severity of her injuries were assessed and this friend no longer is a part of her life. And she was not only grieving what her former life was, but grieving the loss of this friendship that, she thought this person was a really good friend. And then, she had these things change and happen to her, and this friend chose to no longer be a part of her life. So I sat with her and talked about it, and it told her she's entitled to feel every single feeling that she's feeling in that moment because it's her experience, and I would be frustrated too with that situation. So then I asked her, what are things that you've done for yourself since then? And she's talked about joining support groups, joining this day program that she's a part of, and she actually has aspirations to go and talk to new drivers and specifically high schoolers about the importance of wearing a seatbelt in the car, because that's what happened, how she sustained her injury. She was in a car accident and didn't have her seatbelt on. So she's, trying to figure out how she can open that door. And I said, just that right there, that's what I want you to focus on when you're doing this mask is, take the anger that you have and for sure put that down, but look at the positive and the future that you have and the aspiration and goal that you have, and really work towards putting that on your mask and figuring out how we can work together. And it actually was great. She had a great conversation with the facilitator of the day program after about how they're going to start working on that goal and figuring out how to make it feasible. So I would just having the conversation and allowing the survivor to discuss that anger, frustration, depression, whatever it might be, really just might be the door opening to then figuring out how we can put that on the mask and then find the positive in it. She cried after she did it and was so grateful that she had the opportunity just to let it out. And I think she just needed that. But if there ever was a situation where I felt maybe it needed to go further, I would definitely pull the facilitator aside and just ensure that, they had outside supports. And if they didn't, I would be glad. In my role at the Brain Injury Association, I help people to find resources, whether it be a support group or a mental health professional. So then suggest that if they would be willing and open to it. But just giving the survivor the power in that moment is the most important part.
I
I'd
love
like
that.
to say, I'd like to say one quick thing. I think Erica really nailed it because to me, it's like you're pouring your emotions onto this thing, and it's like you have a place to let it out. And then, like she said, then okay, but look, what now you've got the anger here, but move on. You can move now. It's like a place to dump it all out on that mask. So I think that was a great. That's exactly what I would have said too.
I love that. And I think for people with aphasia who are maybe haven't yet found the way to communicate what this experience is like, or have been having difficulty doing so, like you said, this almost opens the door, or it's another tool or opportunity to open the door to express what you're going through. So I think, it sounds like people could certainly just order themselves a mask or do this project on their own, but there is a benefit clearly to doing this with a facilitator who can process this with you, because it might bring up some real feelings and thoughts. Um, so I suppose they could bring that to their therapist too, or their clinician, right? If they were to do it on their own. But great. Wow. Thank you for sharing that example too. All right, we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Erica, we have a question for you. Can you give examples of organizations who have already asked for masks to display for an event? I'd just like to hear about some group efforts outside your organization.
Absolutely. So we actually have a lot of displays going on in North Carolina right now because of it being Brain Injury Awareness Month. And some of those are tied to events. Other ones, the masks are just there for the month to display in, we have doctors' offices, hospitals, rehab facilities, museums. I know Kitty can talk to the museum event. She had one in Greensboro. Um, and then other places that have asked in the past, local, assistance disability fairs. I've brought masks to the assistive technology fair before, job fairs. There was a benefits fair for veterans here in Cary, not too long ago where I brought a mask to display and we tabled there. So there's really no limit on an organization that would like a mask or masks to display. 9 times out of 10, if it's feasible and we can get them there, we will. Day programs have asked, and I know the day program that I did the workshop at a couple weeks ago is actually going to they're going to create a wall with all of their masks, and they're going to work to get everyone who goes to the program, since some people only attend certain days, to do a mask and have them displayed so that when they do have outside visitors, they can show off their masks and show off their stories, which I thought was a really great project for them. But yeah, we have, like I said, masks all over the state right now. And Kitty, do you want to talk about the museum in Greensboro?
The museum also allowed me to exhibit for joining the Brain Injury Association, and I've got them. Like Erica said, I don't have them so much on the stand, but I've got a bunch that I could just take kind of with me that are, at some of them, I'm telling you what, some people really go into decorating these things. There's one I've got, and they've got some sort of pirate thing up on nailed to the head. And then over here, they've got like a little pocket watch hanging off. And sometimes there's jewels all over the place. And a lady yesterday, and this is going to be going to the hospital, created her mask and put cotton balls on her head for her hair. Um, yeah, it's just it's such a unique example to portray, and yeah, it lets the survivors know too that, hey, we're not dead. Uh, we've still got something to give, and it gives each person a sense of pride knowing that some of their art is traveling around wherever. So that's, how it is.
Well, that seems like a great spot to wrap it up for now. Thank you all for all the great questions. And if you have more, please email them to answers@aphasia.org and we'll make sure to get your questions answered. So thank you so much, Kitty and Erica, for joining us today. This was wonderful to learn about this project and what you're both doing to increase awareness and how aphasia fits into the picture. And we really look forward to continued collaborations between the Brain Injury Association and the National Aphasia Association. So we hope that everyone will take just a minute to take the short post-webinar survey that will pop up after we close the webinar to share your feedback. We've just shared the link to the PDH certificate for the speech therapists who've joined us today. Thank you for joining us, and spread the word about this free continuing education opportunity. And as we mentioned, we do record these webinars and they are available on our YouTube channel. And we have been creating a library of our recordings on our website. So you can find that if you go to the resources and support header and go to Ask the Expert webinars. You'll find a page all about Ask the Expert programming, and here's the link to the webinar library. And so this will have the webinars and any resources that have been shared. Once you go into that particular webinar recording, all of that will be available there, and that's posted within a few days of each event. And as we've said a few times now, the next big event is the Night of Aphasia Arts coming up, but we also have some events for primary progressive aphasia in honor of International Awareness Days. So definitely check out our events. We have educational events, interactive groups, so that you can find at aphasia.org/events. So that about wraps us up for today. Thank you again, Kitty and Erica. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And maybe we'll see you all next week at After the Expert to talk a little bit more about unmasking brain injury. But we hope you all take care, and we will see you all soon. Be well.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.